Hi, everyone. I'm Kate from GSVlabs. It's really exciting to be here and to host this webinar with Freshworks. Welcome to How to Crack Your Inside Sales here. It's really great that we've been putting on more virtual events because we have folks here from our co-working spaces in both Silicon Valley and in Boston. We also have many members from our Passport community. And if you're not sure about GSV Passport or all the ways we're trying to help startups online, please go check those out or reach out to us after this. But one of the ways we do that is we have a bunch of perks on our online platform for startups. And one of those awesome perks is Freshworks. So thank you again for being here, Freshworks team. We just found out that they're all based in India right now, and it is the middle of the night, which makes us all the more appreciative of your time and your availability to support our startups. So thanks for being here. We have Nivas Ravichandran, hope I pronounced that right, who leads their startup partnerships and growth. And we also have Zahed Ahmed here with us, who works in their sales process, and I think has been with Freshworks for over 8 years, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So excited to have you both here, and I'll go ahead and hand it off to you.
Cool. So is Yamini going to be doing something?
No. I'm going to let you guys carry on.
Okay, cool. So because the agenda that was shared said Yamini is going to talk about something. So yeah. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. We're happy to be partnering with GSVlabs. So I don't know how many of you know, Freshworks is a B2B SaaS software company in the customer engagement space. We started off with customer support software, which is called Freshdesk, back in 2011. Now we've kind of evolved into providing a CRM software, help desk, and IT service management, marketing automation. So we kind of help companies take care of their customers throughout their entire life cycle, all the way from acquisition through a marketing automation software to customer success software. So majority of our business lies in the SMB market. And so we've majorly built it. Majority of the employees sit out of India, and we've been able to scale. We're right now valued at about $3.5 billion in terms of valuation. We're backed by Google Capital, Axel, Sequoia, and Tiger Global. In terms of revenue, we did cross the 100 million benchmark like two and a half years ago. We're kind of way past that. But yeah, today we very specifically wanted to talk about how we're doing inside sales, or more of remote selling, because all of us are placed in at our homes, and where we're kind of selling globally. So we'll also talk about the general process of how we do it at Freshworks, and also about the current situation. How we're kind of adapting to it. And we'd love to keep this super interactive as we can. I have intentionally not kept more than 2 to 3 questions for that purpose, and would love if you can. There's a Q&A portal on Zoom where you can just key in your questions. I'm going to pick it up for Zahed to answer. If there's anything else that you think we should also cover, just key in your questions, and we'd be happy to take it. So I think we have about 50 odd minutes this webinar. So maybe just to start it off, Zahed, I did mention that we target the majority on the SMB, but we do have a mid-market focusing function as well. So do you just want to talk about the overall sales structure at Freshworks?
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to
be a little louder, Zahed.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi, guys. The inside sales, as we call it at Freshworks, is. Do I have to start off? Sorry, I'm Zahed. Sorry, my voice is breaking up. I cannot see this.
We can hear you. I think it's fine. Kate, can you hear him?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
perfect.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Zahed.
We at Inside Sales take care of inbound leads, SMB and mid-market. It's a big function where we have sales reps taking care of employee size of less than 250 for an SMB, and then there's mid-market, which is basically outbound and meeting customers face-to-face. The process, what we follow at the Inside Sales is we get in leads via chats, demos, people visiting websites, and marketing campaigns. What happens is when the lead comes in to our CRM, Fresh Sales is what we use, and once we get in touch with the customer's need, we have a supporting team called the pre-sales team. A pre-sales team helps us to close a lead, technical questions, demos, a follow-up, and we have a sales cycle of 21 days for a lead, for an account. We give them a free trial of 21 days, after which we close a deal. But there is a lot going on behind the scenes from when the lead comes in. There's an enrichment team called the market research team, the MRE team. So what happens, they do a research, they try to find out the source of the lead. They try to find out how big the employee size is using Zoom or LinkedIn, the different sources, so that they can put it to the right sales rep in the company. Say if it's less than 250 employees, it goes to the SMB team. If the employee size is more than 250, it goes to the field team. And during this, we also have something called the SME team is a hunting team, and then we've got a big helpful team with us, which is the farming team. So an account which comes to the inside sales team stays in like for 90 days. We take anything which goes in, upgrades, downgrades, cross sells, everything goes within this 90 days is taken care by the hunting team. And post which there's a team who tries and upsells, which is the farming team. So anything, any account more than 90 days goes to a separate team, which handles a portfolio around 180, 200 accounts. And they have that portfolio for around 6 months or longer. What we also see is they work hand in hand with the customer success team. That's where they come in to find out whether the customer has any issues within his thing in Freshworks, his tenure in Freshworks. What they also do is have regular business reviews to find out if they need something. And this is where referrals come into place. Somebody referring the internal software to a different department. So this is where we see business opportunities through farming team and the customer success team. Not to forget the support function, which helps all existing customers resolve their queries in a stipulated time. What the outbound team or the SDR team does is helps the field team get leads, qualify them for demos. They use LinkedIn. They have their own strategy on how they find out which account or which vertical to focus on, and schedule customer meets and meet them face to face. So it's a different ball game, both sides. SMB needs a little bit of hand-holding, and mid-market needs personal attention given to them.
I think we had a couple of things being mentioned over there. So I'm just trying to see if I got it as well. So we're saying that there is an SMB team and a mid-market team where we're kind of aggregating based on employee count, right? 0 to 250 and 250 and above, right? Why are we doing it based on employees, just to clarify on that?
It's the focus, right? I mean, we have seat-based pricing in SMB. That's what stands out. And mid-market basically has more attention given to them. So you have face-to-face visits, and we have very transparent pricing, and we're very product specific. We cater to customers according to the product.
Okay. So in fact, I think one of the things that I really like about Freshworks, and I think a lot of the B2B SaaS businesses or B2B businesses can really try out is we have a very transparent pricing on our pages, which allows, I think, that enables the sales team to not really worry about sending price quotations every now and then, right? Because I think because we're also playing the SMB game, we're playing a huge volume game perspective, because I don't know if we can reveal the number of leads a person handles within a month, but I know that the inside sales team handles quite a good number of leads coming inbound, which kind of gets segregated based on the region. So you handle which regions, just for the clarity of the audience?
I handle the US East SMB.
Okay. Okay. And which states do they comprise of?
The SMB sales. Sorry, I mean, we take care of all
the states. I mean, the states in the US.
New York, New Jersey, Florida. These are the few states which come in now. They're most affected by the COVID-19 situation.
Okay. Okay.
But now we are maintaining relationships with these customers. It is important to maintain relationship.
Okay.
And
right. Yeah. So just a question here, right? Because you mentioned that, just trying to transition into that. So folks, can we also keep getting questions, because we're going to kind of keep it super conversational as we can. And we're going to keep jumping back and forth on some of the topics. So you did mention that some of the reasons are affected and you're trying to maintain relationships. Maybe what are your 2 to 3 tips on how people should take care of sales at this moment, Zahed?
See, I mean, the 2 levels of disruption when it comes to business. First is the face-to-face meeting. That's closed, especially for B2B sales. And a drop in demand from certain clientele like travel, hospitality, aviation. We've seen a steep drop of customers leaving the company because they do not have funds to carry on. And but people also anxious. The events and conferences have been cancelled. So forget the face-to-face meeting. This is the next best thing, Zoom conferences. So we are facing quite a bit of uncertainty, and this means that the prospects are now thinking of minimizing their cost. And it's difficult for us to meet sales quotas. Their employees are working remote and in odd shifts. So just driving demand business, that too in the B2B space, we need to also rely on alternate channels like outbound selling. We just cannot rely on inbound selling anymore. So this is the time where we get to experiment. This is of getting new things coming out from the sales team. So yeah.
What are maybe 2 to 3 changes that you've seen, I mean, or you've made within your team or within the inside sales functions ahead?
So we've started something like to enforce the same. I mean, see, the big mistake people do is have the same quota for the sales guy, which is not really going to happen in times like these. So as a team, what we've done is if a sales rep attains 70% of his business plan target, we are paying out 100% variable pay, which is a wow factor at times like these. The how much are they going to do is something up to them. They create good pipelines. So this is something as a company, we're focusing on the employees so that we do not penalize them for something not their fault. But at the same time, this is now a motivation. I see a lot of motivation between sales reps trying to do the 100% so they can take up 130% of the variable pay, which is important. So yeah, this is something which we are doing. We're also trying to focus on hospitals. We are trying to sell to a lot of hospitals and medical companies in need. We're offering chat and caller freemium products for free for 6 months, because in times like these, they need our help and support. So yeah.
So just trying to get that straight. Which are the verticals you're seeing a lot more traction happening in?
It's the hospitals. We've got educational institutes, universities. They are something who are coming up requesting for a help desk software, because things are getting normal again, like they're working from home, classes have started, the number of inquiries.
There's of course a higher demand for their businesses as well,
Oh,
given the
there.
current situation. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, right, right. So also maybe just one point, because I've been in Freshworks for about four and a half years, and I've been on the marketing front. The one very clear thing that businesses really need to think about is, are they a vitamin or a painkiller for like their customer persona, right? If there is, like, think about this. If you're maybe, I mean, for the same, for a set of customers, you could be a vitamin, whereas for another set of customers, you could be a painkiller. So probably the ideal thing is to focus on which are the certain personas where you could really maximize your results on, and kind of take it forward from there.
So it's
You wanted to
vital
say something, Zahed?
yes, it's vital to get new customers on board, no matter how small or big the customer is at the moment.
Right.
And
Right.
diversifying
And
our clientele. Yeah.
right. And in terms of, let's say, I think there are customers who are going to obviously ask for extensions or cancellations. And I mean, there are going to be people who are going to be churning as well, right? Because we're a recurring business. How are we handling that, Zahed?
So we've got exceptions right now. I mean, see, we've got legit reasons. I mean, a customer of mine,
Right.
like I just got a mail half an hour back stating that, sorry, we do not have money to renew our licenses, and we do not wish to go ahead with the product. These kind of customers, I'm sure that we've given them an extension, say 3 months, sort out your businesses, you stay with us, use our software, you don't need to leave us because of pricing. We're very flexible with regards to pricing. And this gets the customer liked, and he also referred to us a couple of his clients who'd be interested in using the help desk. So that was leads.
Right. I think one of the things we are also following within the company that I noticed with at least some of the other regions, I think that's also when a customer is about to churn, we kind of extend or at least give them a couple of free months, because we would rather want them to sustain their business and not really worry about software costs. But later, when the situation settles down, hopefully, they will continue using us and stay with us as a customer. So I think that's pretty fundamental. As long as it doesn't involve too much of cost for you as a business, like, except for maybe, like for us, it's going to be AWS or server cost. If you're able to kind of sustain on that and still give out a couple of free months to your existing customers who are about to churn, I think it's a better practice than allowing them to churn, because it's very difficult for you to win back a customer, but rather retain someone. So we are getting a couple of questions here, Zahed. So one is from Emilia. She asks, what tools do you use to get your outbound leads? So this is actually on the chat, so I don't think you might be able to see it. But she's asking, what tools do you use to get your outbound leads? I heard you mention LinkedIn. Do you use any list builders, etc.? Yeah. Then when you have them, are you utilizing Freshworks to send out marketing campaigns? So maybe I'll take the second half, but do you want to just talk about the tools that we use for outbound leads?
Nivas, with me doing inbounds, we've got a separate team which does outbounds, right? So yes, right. I mean, I'm sure if you have more clarity, but Sales Navigator and LinkedIn and referrals is what we do for outbounds at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think maybe just answering that question, right? We have a team that does more of, we do go to a lot of these events and kind of obtain lists. So we generally don't procure lists, because we have not seen, we used to do them like way back, but we haven't seen great results even when we procured them from, like, say, a Zoom Info or things like that. So now we've kind of moved into an account-based selling model where we kind of go after a specific set of accounts and then try to understand if like we can reach out to them either on LinkedIn, or we do a lot of activities on social selling. So I think that's one of the things that we follow. And from a marketing campaign, again, when we get leads from, let's say, an event that we've been to, things like that, we try pushing them down the funnel, or you want to call it a flywheel or anything. So we kind of move them slowly through the funnel by putting them through a lot of content, or maybe let's say a webinar, something similar like this, where we add a lot of value. Do not expect them to probably pick up our software or anything, but just give them value. So that is one of the activities that we do that helps really convert them or move them down the funnel. So I think that was one question. So with respect to inside sales, right? We do get a lot of inbound leads. So there, do you know of any tools that the team uses to kind of do we do lead scoring or other things, Zahed?
So we used Infa. So Infa gives you the lead scoring. It gives you how many times the customer has visited the website, how many times has he gone into the pricing page. So this gives a unique score. So it's easier for the sales guy to get into it. And this comes directly inside Fresh Sales. So it's easier for the sales reps to see, filter out what he wants. And I mean, looking at the lead, the sales guy can say, I can close this right away in this call. So, and they may be xyz.com, which gets filtered in the bucket D. We do touch them, but there's a 1% closing probability out of 100.
Right. I think also the effort taken to close a higher lead score lead is more, whereas I mean, probably the follow-ups is higher because you want to, you know that it's a good lead and you want to close them. Whereas when you know it's from a Gmail ID or something, we don't really put a lot of effort into it, right? So there's a question from Jesper around what tools do we use to identify visitors that didn't enter into the marketing funnel? I think that's again a question for the from a marketing perspective. So we used to, I think we use, if I'm not wrong, we use Clearbit to kind of identify visitor information. I'm happy to kind of check on that and probably get back to you with more details, because that's actually handled by a team called the digital marketing team. So I'll also explain how our marketing teams are kind of spread across. So we have a team that takes care of pure paid lead generation, which is called the digital marketing team. And we also have something called the growth marketing team that takes care of any organic lead generation activities like SEO, content, webinars, events, anything else apart from Google AdWords or ads directly. And we also have a different product marketing team. So one of the things when Zahed mentioning was, he said there's a hunting team and a farming team. So just to explain on that, we have different product marketing teams because we have about 8 products in our suite today. And we have, I mean, because there are 8 products, sometimes maybe one of the customers would have just picked up one of our products, and for us to cross-sell into other products so that we can at least kind of get or obtain more revenue from the existing customer rather than going after new customers. We use a farming technique to kind of bring them on board. So that's one of the things. And yeah, I think we're getting more questions on the chat panel rather than the Q&A. I don't see any questions on the Q&A, but I see all the questions happening on the chat panel. So yeah, Zahed, I think one question I think that might be helpful for a lot of the folks over here is, because we've built this team in India, especially when we built it at that time, I don't think we would have had a lot of people who would have been there, done that in SaaS selling, right, or B2B selling. How did we go about, bringing in, I think we have close to 300 to 400 inside sales people sitting within Freshworks. So how did we go about hiring them, or what did we look for in them?
When I was hired, I was a second sales guy. Yeah, we came with a little bit of experience before this, but then it was a challenging task. We had to choose what we want, but we didn't know what we wanted back then, right? It was just about selling. So we went into universities, we took a lot of interviews, and what we saw is the enthusiasm which the young folks from colleges have was amazing. I mean, today they are the rock stars of Freshworks, and that's what completes us. We have a blend of young folks and an experienced folks. So our team, my team, for example, I have 32 of them to be precise. 15 to 18 of them have got less than 1 year experience. So they come in with a lot of ideas. The way they convince customers to get into demos is something we learn from them. And they always need a little bit of hand holding, but once they're on top, sky is the limit for them. So
Right, right. And we have a question, a pretty interesting one from Alec. More from, I think it's a question towards marketing as well as sales. When you think about sales enablement, do you have any tips for equipping your sales rep to offer the consultative sales / handholding SMEs often needed in a scalable way? So I think more of what are the different sales enablement tools, sales enablement tools plus documents that we enable them with so that they're able to sell more efficiently and more in a scalable way. Is that it?
sure. So a lot of them come learn on the job, right? There's no such process training which we have at Freshworks. But when it comes to sales enablement, they're equipped with market competition. They see who our competition is. We've got documents. We do study them on a weekly basis to see what new products our competition has got. We've got internal demos about other products to see on what feature is most required from whoever our competitors are. We've got a product specialist who takes care. We work with the product team to tell them what is in the market, and it gives them an idea. So hand-holding SMEs often requires in a scalable way. Yes, we take a lot of feedback from customers. We try and see things which we can complete as a product, but depending on the priority, yes, we do take up requests from SMEs too about what they need.
So I think from a sales enablement collaterals perspective, right, what we've really seen working are good pricing battle cards and feature battle cards, right? Where if you're able to compare it with the others, and also another angle to it is people ask for customer references from a particular vertical. So if you're a smaller business right now, for us, when we started off, we really did not put too much effort into that. But then later we realized and we had to go all the way back and kind of build that process better. So what I would say is probably put them into each vertical. Let's say if it's going to be edutech, it's going to be, let's say,
maintain
SaaS
a database,
or,
basically. Yeah.
Right. Maintain a better database with the right customers so that you'll be able to introduce them whenever it's needed with, case studies or webinars and demos or feature videos and things like that. So that is just one question, right? We do get a lot of, inbound requests from a lot of our customers. So you mentioned something about pre-sales, right? What exactly is that, does that function and how are they different from customer support?
So the pre-sales takes care, works hand in hand with the sales, the hunter, the inbound rep. From the time a customer is signed up to taking a product demo, the complete demo of the product, to assisting them in setting up their help desk software, whatever it is, fresh desk service or sales. They have in-depth knowledge in detail from coding to the basic codings to till the customer goes live. A pre-sales rep is assigned to a particular customer. The difference between a support rep and a pre-sales rep here would be a support rep supports the customer even after the sale is done. And we have customers for life. So they give them the best possible support. Anytime a ticket is raised, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or chat portals, a customer support rep, depending on what time zone he works in, replies and, gets the resolution. But the pre-sales and the customer basically work hand in hand. He tells them what needs to be done and tell them whether the product is really a fit or not. So
okay. There's a very interesting question, Zahed, from Elena, and there's also +1 to that question from someone from Emilia. So what are some tactics or language that you've seen speed up the sales cycle during this time, especially during this time? And especially when people seem to have put decisions on hold or are unsure about their budget.
We plan to start a newsletter or a podcast to share success stories on how other customers are finding success with our product. This brings optimism to our prospect as well, keeps us on top of the mind while showing a company is still alive and kicking. So the time saved on travel, which our reps used to do, now they're getting a sound knowledge of the industries to crack in. Customers here, we're engaging with our existing clients to try to see them whether we can get leads and referrals, and telling them that do not worry, we are giving stuff for free. Do not, this would not affect your business or budget. So there are a few things which we are trying to do. And the first thing is try to get in touch with the top of the funnel leads which we have. They were existing leads which were due to close but did not close for various reasons. So we are not telling them to buy right now, but we're making sure that we maintain a good relationship so that they buy when things get back to normal.
Elena, just answering your question, because I've also seen some of the other regions within Freshworks, especially during this time, there's no really set answer, because unless and until their business is fairly functioning, they're able to take it forward. But what another aspect of it that's kind of come in place is that especially when you're replacing something like a CRM or a help desk, this is kind of the lean period, right? So we're kind of taking advantage of that and saying, hey, you know what? If you've been really looking to save costs, or maybe depending on what their objective is, we kind of pitch that and say, hey, do you want to make use of this time to kind of make that change management happen and kind of move forward? We also do get a lot of pushback saying, you know what? Change management can be super difficult, especially when you're doing it remote. We're facing that as well. But yeah, maybe right now we've also seen a lot of traction for the startup credits that we're offering from Freshworks for partners like GSV, where we've given out $10,000 worth of credits. So that's also helping, like right now, because if they're not paying from their pockets at this moment, but you're kind of allowing them to use the software, so they're able to make decisions faster. So that's a technique that's kind of helping us. Not really the best one, but we also, I mean, that's some of our techniques that's just been working. We just hope that helps, Elena. Yeah, we're waiting for some more questions, Zahed. So, yeah, Zahed, so you also mentioned about reducing the targets, or no, actually, you didn't say reduce the targets, but more of if they attain 70%.
Targets remain the same.
Targets remain the same, right? Yeah. So I think that was a very conscious call taken where we. I remember speaking to the sales heads and the founders where they said, "Look, even we don't know what is the right sales target to set." I think that was a very interesting answer, because we don't know how good is it going to be, or how bad, extremely bad is it going to be in a particular sector versus another sector. So I think the answer they had was, you know what, we'll rather enforce psychological safety among the employees, the salespeople especially, because for them, a lot of them depend on the variable pays. And so if you're able to do that for your sales folks, saying, you know what, your livelihood is taken care of, but if you can, let's say, attain the 100% of the targets, what are they eligible for when they do that? When they probably attain 100% of the target? 130%. Okay, that's great. Okay, so that's not really bringing down the target, but you are giving them more for even. And I also remember there was one option for them to kind of get an extra, a very small percentage if they do an upskill during this period. Am I getting that right?
Yes, by cross-selling different products, there is a small amount of
Okay.
variable pay paid. So
Okay.
everybody is looking
Right.
forward for it, though it's not going to be easy, but you see a lot of sales rep pumped up from home to do a lot of good selling. So
Right. Right. Yeah. So Alec has another question saying, when you're trying to use cost cutting or change management as a lever to acquire new customers, are you just competing on lower price?
see, the customer is going to be there for life. Prices would change. We've had three price changes. I think 3 or 4 price changes in the last 8 years. We just want to have as many logos as possible at the moment so that we may grow them on a later stage. What are we going to do on a long-term basis? That is something we haven't thought of, but what we need is new logos and new customers on board who are happy and content at this time. So
Alex, so it is difficult times, right? We don't have a perfect answer on that, but I think having said that, right now it's rather better to allow the customer, like when we know that the customer is definitely willing to pick us up, we just want them to start adopting us so that they'll at least stay with us and not move to a like not decide to pick another software, right? When you're losing that opportunity, especially at this situation, it's a little risky. And you'll also have to realize what is it costing you, right? For us, if it's going to be server cost and if you're able to manage it because we are a funded company or things like that, then it makes sense. But if you're not a funded company and if another customer at a lower price, and what is the margin that you're having to make sure it's being taken care of? So that is the most important thing. And yeah, so apart from cost, are we also putting together any other strategy in place? You did mention about a couple of success stories or like case studies type, right?
yes, we're coming up with newsletters, success stories. We're getting customer testimonials to show how Fresh Desk or Fresh Service has helped them during this situation, and how pricing helped them with a low cost budget. So they've gone out and given good reviews on different portals, like I mean everywhere, and this has given us a good brand value. At the same time, confidence in other people coming to us and asking what we really do. So this has helped us
Right,
from a competition.
right, right. So we have a question from Zeno. I think I'll take it. It says about the credits we were talking about. Can we get that for just one product alone? Yes, that is possible. You can. So we do have 8 products in our suite, but you don't necessarily have to pick all the 8. So we totally allow you to pick whichever is of your need. So if it's, let's say, a customer support software or a chat widget that you want to install, or a CRM software, you can just pick that, and you'd be eligible for about $1,250 US dollars worth credits for each product, which kind of sums up to $10,000 across the 8 products. We'd be happy to answer your question later post the webinar, or you could reach out to one of us and we'd be happy to take it forward. Cool. Yeah, I think I've mostly run out of my questions. Maybe so. Zahed, just one question in terms of what are maybe 2 to 3 things that you keep looking at on a daily basis from an inside sales leader perspective or a founder, especially who's attending this AMA. What are 2 to 3 metrics that you look at every day?
To begin with, first would be the revenue on how much we've made every day. So that is something to look at the meter on how much we're doing on a day-to-day basis. Also looking at how many leads as a salesperson receive. That is important to find out whether we are giving the ammunition for the sales guy to go for the kill, right? I mean,
Right.
without
Right.
leads, there's not much a salesperson can do. And I also look at feedback given across different portals like Twitter, and we try to see where we can help and improve ourselves. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, going about these key things, you keep doing this on a regular basis, I'm sure that sky is the limit for us.
Right, right. Yeah. I think just one question in terms of what do you think is going to ultimately change post the COVID situation, Zahed, for inside sales as a function?
I think apart from social distancing, working from home is now going to become a norm. Uh,
Right,
our the reps are going to get more innovative. Sitting at home, they're going to get more ideas. They're going to learn new material. They're trying to see on how they can crack selling over from their houses. And yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out where we are, but we've got a good month of March, and April looks promising too. So I wouldn't want to think, yeah, fingers crossed. I just want to focus on the coming days, but yes, I think everyone's giving the 200% at the moment. So this is what we need.
right, right. I think I'm very sure that there's a lot of innovation coming from a lot of the companies as well, where we're seeing very different, like even from a marketing standpoint, people are rethinking formats. People are talking more of engagement and value rather than just blatantly promoting or marketing things. We have a question from Saurabh. He says, any recommendations on how to handle comparison with competition and their pricing during sales calls?
Saurabh, a nice question. To be honest, just keep it simple, plain simple, right? I mean, you just need to tell them what we really have and how it's going to add value. We don't bring down our competition, or we don't talk bad about our competition. That is very important. This is
Right,
something which I
right,
tell my team on a day-to-day basis. We tell the customer, this is what we have to offer.
right,
And this is our upselling point. We've got support in Freshdesk, which works 24/7 and 24/5, phone and email. So this is where we stand out from other competitions. And products pricing is something which you can always negotiate on, but being honest in the first call is something which would win our
right,
customers.
right. I think also, Saurabh, maybe a tip, because I've prepared a good amount of battle cards for inside sales people. There are very specific things that definitely the competitor gets missed out on versus you. There are obviously some areas where you miss out on, whereas some areas where the competitor gets missed out on. So you probably, an advice is to look at what really hurts or what is most important for the customer, so that let's say they are someone who's looking for support post the implementation, right? A lot of the products kind of charge for support, whereas we offer a 24/7, as what Zahed mentioned. We do offer support even to some of our free customers. I think majority of our free customers. So that being an advantage, we kind of, if we get to know that from the customer, and this is kind of critical in the discovery calls that we do, where we understand why are they moving away from maybe one software to another versus what are the other tools that they're also evaluating. So when you kind of get to know that, and I think in terms of pricing, if you are higher or lower from a particular competitor, you have your reasons for that, right? So make sure your sales team is enabled with that sort of reasoning, saying, hey, why are we priced higher or why are we priced lower? So it's just, if I mean, our recommendation would just be that be yourself, like what Zahed said, because just defining what you stand for is more important than just trying to justify or probably just giving out. Sometimes discounting doesn't seem to be the best option as well. So that's also a thing where they'll probably think that you're a very undervalued software, whereas you're just being nice to the customer. So yeah. Alec has another question, Zahed. So Zahed, it sounds like you've scaled the sales team really effectively. Any particular traits you look for with Inside Sales Labs?
Alec, thank you. From being the first sales guy for US East, we have 33 reps now in my team. So yes, we have scaled with the blend. I mean, I've been learning every day for the last 8 years, and yeah, I look for someone who is a go-getter, I mean, who does not give up, right? Not everybody is strong in selling. They do have their strengths and weaknesses. So I try and figure out in the first 3 months on where I can take the positives from a salesperson, or if he's good in the product, I try and, put him in the pre-sales team. So we build an effective team. What I really see in a salesperson is the ability of saying yes to whatever the target is. It doesn't matter whether he reaches there or not, because we empower them to reach for the sky. And you reach 100% is something which is expected out of every sales guy and nothing less. We'll try and empower them to try and do 130% of a really high target. So yeah, being smart and sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Noah. Sorry.
No, I was just wondering, what if someone is not achieving their targets? How does Freshworks, or how do you motivate them to kind of push, or and especially for a lot of the early stage teams over here, right? Setting the right target is going to be a little tricky, right? So how did we handle them that in the early days, or what's the appropriate target to set?
So, Nivas, there's no right target or wrong target, like I say.
Okay.
It's always a business target, a number which we get from the board. We
Right.
put it up in the desk. We sit and we plan a year in October, November, and we see how we can scale which product. And once we come up with a target, there's no looking back. There's no reducing.
Right.
We try and get the best possible help from our support teams, like the marketing team, and try to see how many leads they can pull in for a particular product. When it comes to a non-performing rep, yeah, we give them 3 months. I mean, I see everyone's got a bad month. It can be 1 bad month, 2 bad months, but 3 bad months is something which is not acceptable. When you're in a competitive team of 30 people, there's always competition to your left and to your right. I mean, it's the same for everyone. If there's no competition in sales, I don't think it is selling. It's just going to be comfort, come, warm the chairs and go. But that's not how we do it. We put up challenges every week, every month. We set up daily targets to people who are not performing. Firing is not our kind of thing here. So we try and see what they do best, because everyone's chosen this company and the company's chosen the best talent during hiring. But yeah, we try and accommodate them in teams which they're happy. I've got a couple of instances in the last couple of years where someone signed up for sales, but he realized after 6 months that sales is not my thing. I'd moved to pre-sales. That person has been part of a President's Club back to back for 2 years. So that's something which I'm happy about, and they're happy too. So it's about getting the potential out of it.
I think another very interesting thing that I've noticed personally is, especially when the office was open, not at this situation, but there used to be this really large screens with team numbers being displayed by every bay. And whenever they had the highest number among the entire bay, like for example, there was a leaderboard based on, I mean, it wasn't for an individual, but it was more for the team, right? For the region itself. Like saying US East is leading or US West. So that kind of brings in a lot of competition. And I found that found people getting really aggressive and happy about kind of competing against each other's teams. And especially because they know that, hey, you know what, I don't want to lose face among my other colleagues from another team. So that's something that I've generally enjoyed among the sales folks. So we have another question from Saurabh. He says, hey, okay, he thanks you first. And one more, how to manage the balance of price transparency on your website without losing the negotiation upper hand or scaring the customer? So we've not really done that, but do you want to take an answer for that? And I have.
I think Nivas, you have, yeah, I mean, see, like Nivas was just saying, I mean, we know what our pricing is, right? I mean, we're transparent. Say whether you buy annual or monthly, a customer knows what he wants, right? I mean, it depends on his budget too. Losing negotiation, see, it's always going to be two sides. It cannot be one side from the sales rep that this is the price buy. I mean, there's always two sides to the conversation. The customer comes with us with a budget. We try and see whether we can match it. Yes, there are times we can, there are times we cannot, but doesn't mean that we say, the customer can go. But yeah, without scaring the customer. So we be honest. We try to find out what his requirements are. Normally, if a customer comes in for the different plans we have, he says he wants estate, which is a plan. One plan below the forest plan is the estate plan. But when we find out the requirements, it's basically a blossom plan, which he doesn't need to spend that much money. So we tell him what is right and what is wrong for his help desk software. And yeah, and if both parties agree, we come to a mutual ground and fix a price. So
I think sort of also just adding to your question, right? If you're especially selling to a mid-market or an enterprise customer, where your solution is going to be super customized based on a lot of their requests, then it's okay to kind of put your pricing in the back end, where you're not really disclosing your pricing, so that you can kind of keep modifying it based on the type of customer. But when you know that it's a very fixed offering that you are selling, and you want to sell at volume, then I would probably maybe the first 50 or 100 customers for your business, you could still keep it non-transparent, because you still want to keep kind of experimenting with your pricing. I've seen a lot of startups, a lot of businesses do that, where they don't reveal the pricing, but they just keep changing it based on how the customer feels, and they kind of come up with the right pricing post a particular iteration. But also this, right? Pricing is never final. It's iterative. It does. I mean, you never know what is right, what is wrong. So there've been times when customer has come back and said, you know what, you're extremely, underpricing on a particular thing. And I remember our co-founder talking about one of the stories where when we were trying to sell to a large enterprise, we did not charge an implementation fee. And they came back and said, oh, okay, if you don't charge an implementation fee, you're not a serious business. And then that is when we stuck us saying, okay, you know what, for all the SMB businesses, as long as there's no implementation involved, we will not charge. But if there is, we're happy to do it. And we will make sure they are set up for success. So I think that's also something that you could take care of. So Kara has a question here. I think that'll probably be the last question because we're almost close to our 1 hour mark. How do you keep your sales leads who aren't? Yeah. How do you keep your sales leads who aren't ready to purchase yet engaged? Do you mostly use newsletters, or what do you do?
Yes,
you
Kara,
can talk about it from a sales perspective.
See, customers need solutions in specific circumstances when they're scaling or they have a pain point and they need to invest. So they've taken our time, we've given them demos and things like that, but there comes at a point where they're not able to buy. So keeping this in mind, we try and change a strategy. We try and keep giving them updates on what the product is. Our team constantly sends them that how this will help you reduce time in reduce your productivity time. So we keep giving them follow-ups with newsletters, yes, and give them that optional email once in a while to just say that if you've heard from a decision-making. Times like these, decision-making now is become shorter because less meetings across. So a 21-day trial today, we see customers buying in 5 to 6 days because everyone's at home. Decisions, it's really easy to get approval these days. So yeah, I hope I have answered your questions.
Yes, Zahed, just adding on to that, Kara, another thing that I've noticed within the CRM as well is when the decision is put on hold, we do capture the reason for the hold, right? They generally say, or we also say we've lost the deal right now because the deal cycle for us is 21 days for any of the SMB customers. So we say, okay, it's been put on hold due to maybe lack of features from our end, or maybe they're not comfortable with the pricing, or they're probably, for different reasons. And it's kind of bucketed pretty well. And based on which we kind of reach out to them. Like, let's say when we know that a particular feature has been launched, we make sure even before the feature is being launched or it's going to go into the beta version, we ask them if they're willing to give that a shot, and if they've not yet picked another alternative software. So that's something that you can really try, even if it's not a software, but identify what are the lost reasons. Even as a founder, it's important for you to understand why you're losing deals versus why you're really winning deals also, so that you're able to take it forward.
I'm sure you should try Fresh Sales for that, Kara.
Yeah. Kate, do you, I think we're mostly done with our questions. So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And we're coming up to the end of our time here. Thank you again so much. If there are any questions anyone has that they didn't get an answer to, or have any questions about GSVlabs partnerships with Freshworks and the benefits you can get, they mentioned it's $10,000 in credit. So come let us know. We're happy to help.
Sure. Thank you so much. And just a thing, Zahed's generally a shy person, but we did rope him in for the webinar, and we told him saying, okay, you know what, we'll keep it conversational. We'll not put too much spotlight. But thank you so much, Zahed. You kept it fairly, I mean, like very conversational, very candid. I just hope we were able to add value to all the attendees.
Thank you, Nivas. Thank you, Kate. And thanks everyone who's joined in today.
Yep. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Night for you guys. We'll do the next one earlier.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you, guys.
Thank you, Yamini.